Like, and realistically, bro, all four of these teams have a chance to really win that division. Obviously, the Texans are going to be the favorite. I feel like the Texans are definitely going to be over 500. The Colts could be over 500 as well. If Trevor Lawrence has a great season, like even like the second half of the season, then maybe they can be over 500. I think it's going to be impossible for all of these guys to be over 500, but can all four of these teams make the playoffs? I don't think so, because of the fact that you also have the AFC North, which my Baltimore Ravens are in, with the Bengals, Steelers, and Browns, who are just, this is always going to be a dogfight. And last year, almost all four teams made the playoffs, so it's going to be an interesting
obviously a few
battle.
years ago the
Yo, what's good, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another reaction video. We got top 5 biggest storylines heading into the 2024 season. Let's check this out.
Every single NFL season is driven by storylines. So today, I thought it'd be very fun to talk about the 5 most intriguing NFL storylines heading into the 2024 season. Now, these are just 5 storylines, and of course, there are over 150,000 plus iterations of storylines that we could talk about. So if you guys want to see a part 2, let me know in the comment section, and of course let me know the storylines you guys want me to cover. But let's hop into my list. Starting off at number 5, I want to talk about the redemption of Bryce Young. I thought last year was a pretty poor indication of the caliber of player that Bryce Young truly is, because after a successful college career at Alabama, he was of course taken number 1 by the Carolina Panthers, who, by the way,
and I don't think it's fair to call him a bust off of 1 year, bro. It's crazy. It's like, what I find crazy is they're calling him a bust after 1 year, but when Trevor Lawrence played horrible, oh, y'all gave him a shot. Y'all gave him a chance. But why the hell y'all shutting down Bryce Young already, bro? It's not everybody, but I've seen some comments and shit talking about some Bryce Young is going to be a bust and shit, but y'all didn't say that about Trevor Lawrence, though. Like, come on now.
Traded up from their respective pick to move up into number 1 to draft Bryce Young. And given the fact that the Carolina Panthers were one of the worst teams in the NFL roster construction wise, Bryce Young had, in my opinion, one of the worst rookie seasons I've seen in quite some time. A lot of that, though, was not his fault. Last year, Bryce Young had arguably the worst, if not one of the worst offensive lines in the NFL, maybe the worst receiving core in the NFL, a okay defense, and
like, look at that, bro. Maybe like, look at this. Breaks a sack and then watch his throw. Come on now.
And
the talent is still there.
Coaching staff in the league at one point, but now he's heading into the 2024 season with a revamped offense, a revamped coaching room, and a defense that's basically the same, minus a couple players. And to me, what makes this storyline so much more fun is given the success of quarterbacks like CJ Stroud, Will Levis, and Anthony Richardson. Those guys obviously had some up and downs rookie seasons. CJ Stroud obviously had the best rookie season, but we also saw the extreme highs of Anthony Richardson and Will Levis. Whereas we never really got to see that from a guy in Bryce Young, who has an uber amount of talent, just as much, if not more, than a guy like CJ Stroud. But yet again, I go back to what I said earlier, those quarterbacks were surrounded with a lot more talent. Even though none of those teams were necessarily championship contenders, they had enough talent to prove what they are doing, whereas Bryce Young never had that talent. But again, heading into 2024, he has the talent to surround him, and I do expect him to take a massive step forward. I do think in 2024, he should easily reach over 3,000 passing yards, easily reach over 20 touchdowns, and keep the interceptions as low as possible. I don't expect it to be all rainbows and sunshine. I expect at some points throughout the season that there will be some struggles as he's still adapting to the NFL level, but I do think by the end of the season, we're going to see the talent that was given to him that made him the number 1 overall pick. Next up at number 4, I want to discuss the storyline of 3 major divisions, those being the battle of the AFC South, AFC North, and the NFC North. These are 3 of the best divisions in the entire NFL, and I truly do believe that each of these divisions has such a unique storyline. We will begin by discussing the AFC South, which has to deal with the likes of the Houston Texans, the Indianapolis Colts, the Tennessee Titans.
And realistically, bro, all 4 of these teams have a chance to really win that division. Obviously, the Texans are going to be the favorite. I feel like the Texans are definitely going to be over 500. The Colts could be over 500 as well. If Trevor Lawrence has a great season, like even like the second half of the season, then maybe they can be over 500. I think it's going to be impossible for all of these guys to be over 500, but can all 4 of these teams make the playoffs? I don't think so, because of the fact that you also have the AFC North, which my Baltimore Ravens are in, with the Bengals, Steelers, and Browns, who are just, this is always going to be a dogfight. And last year, almost all 4 teams made the playoffs. So it's going to be an interesting
Obviously, a few years ago, the Jacksonville Jaguars won the division until last year the Houston Texans came out of nowhere to win the division. We also saw last year that the Indianapolis Colts came extremely close to also winning the division. When you look at this division, you have 4 very young teams that have a lot of really good talented players to go along with 4 young quarterbacks who are likely going to be the quarterbacks of the future. Houston Texans have CJ Stroud and an ample amount of talent, and they are looking to again win the division. The Indianapolis Colts have Anthony Richardson, arguably the best overall roster in this division. It's arguable though, and a ton of expectations to take a big step forward with the healthy Anthony Richardson. Then you have Will Levis, who has now been surrounded by so many different great weapons, mainly names like Tony Pollard and Calvin Ridley. Can Will Levis stay consistent and take that step forward to being the best quarterback in this division? We'll have to wait and see to next year. Then you have the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are looking to regain possession of this division under Trevor Lawrence and Doug Peterson. Next is the AFC North, arguably 4 of the best teams in the AFC, the Baltimore Ravens, the Cincinnati Bengals, the Cleveland Browns, and the Pittsburgh Steelers. All 4 of these teams,
if Burrow stayed healthy, the Bengals would have went to the playoffs, bro.
Veteran quarterbacks who are 100%. Looking to finally reach the top mantle of the NFL in winning a Lombardi trophy. All 4 of these teams have great head coaches and great overall rosters as they are looking to compete in this brutal division. Who's going to come out on top? I don't know. Then you have the NFC North, 4 extremely young and talented teams with a
this division is going to be a dogfight as well.
The Chicago Bears and the Minnesota Vikings have 2 young rookie quarterbacks who I may or may not be talking about up next, to go along with an uber amount of talent on both those teams. Then you have the Detroit Lions and Green Bay Packers, who are 2 of the front runners to win the NFC next year. Who's going to win that division? Right now, it looks like the Detroit Lions. But could the Green Bay Packers potentially move out a team like Detroit and win the division? We'll have to wait and see. As I alluded to earlier, at number 3, we're going to be discussing the rise or maybe the fall of the 2024 rookie quarterback class.
Okay.
This was a very unique quarterback class in which we saw a ton of top-end talent go extremely early on. Obviously, we saw the likes of Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Drake May, Michael Penix Jr., and Bo Nix all be taken in the first round with a ton of expectations on a number of those quarterbacks.
Oh,
Caleb
I like
Williams
that
is
catch.
obviously going to the Chicago Bears, and he is probably the most scrutinized rookie quarterbacks I may have ever seen. The expectations for Caleb Williams are through the roof, as he is expected to take this extremely talented Chicago Bears team to the promised land by making the playoffs and potentially winning the division. With one of the best overall rosters in the NFL, there's high expectations for a reason. He's got a great receiving core, a good enough offensive line, some good running backs, a coaching staff that I still have some question marks about, but they have put together one of the best teams.
This might be a hot take for me, bro. You know, I know I'm probably gonna get a lot of heat for this, but this is an extreme hot take for me, bro. What if, and this is a big what if Caleb Williams and company get the 1 seed in the NFC, bro? That's just a hot take. I don't think it's gonna happen. That's just a hot take for me. What if they win the 1 seed, bro? That, like, it's not impossible. I just don't think it's gonna happen. But what if, bro? Like, I just want to know what you guys think about that.
Then you have JJ McCarthy, a guy in the same division who is also potentially going to be the lead quarterback to what is going to be a fantastic team. With some amazing players like Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, and a number of other players, the expectations for the Minnesota Vikings are through the roof. Next is Drake May, who I don't know if he's going to get a ton of playing time this year, but if he does, the expectations will be through the roof, as he is expected to lead the future of the New England Patriots. Then you have Jaden Daniels, the day 1 starting quarterback of the Washington Commanders.
In my opinion, the best quarterback in that draft class. The Commanders have basically reconstructed the entire roster to surround Jaden Daniels with as much talent as possible. Can he stay healthy, and can he lead this Washington Commanders to a respectable season in 2024? Next up, you have Bo Nix. Will he start or will he be on the bench? We'll have to wait and see, but I do think that is a Broncos team that does have some pretty low expectations. But can Bo Nix prove to be worthy of that first-round pick? We shall see. Who the fuck is this receiver?
But can Bo Nix prove to be worthy?
Come on now, bro. Come on now.
That first round pick. We shall see in 2024. Next up at number 2, I wanted to discuss the bounce back of the New York Jets. Last
Rod.
year was a very disappointing season after a year's
If Aaron
worth
Rodgers
of
can stay healthy, they're going to be
after
just
the
fine.
signing of Aaron Rodgers and the entire expectations of what this team could have been, whether it was going to be a playoff contender or a championship contender, it all fell flat after the first series in the first game of 2023. Obviously, I don't have to recap the events that happened that night. It was one of the most heartbreaking days, in my opinion, in NFL history, as I feel like every single NFL fan, minus maybe a couple fan bases out there, that truly did feel bad for the New York Jets and all their fans.
For sure.
They had so much hype and so much love put into that roster just for it to fall flat in their face, and unfortunately the season did not go well for them.
No.
Zach Wilson was not able to carry this very talented New York Jets team to the playoffs, and unfortunately it was the defense that had to do a lot of the carrying last year. The defense proved to be a top 5 unit, whereas the offense struggled throughout the season, but now they have fixed up a ton of their issues, going out there and getting the likes of Mike Williams, Tyron Smith, Morgan Moses, and of course their rookie tackle Olufashanu. They now get back healthy. Their starting quarterback in Aaron Rodgers, who has an ample amount of talent around him with the likes of Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson, as they now look to make a push to win the AFC East. The AFC East, in my opinion, is wide open for the taking with the regressions that we have seen from the Buffalo Bills and Miami Dolphins, and of course the New England Patriots. So can the
I don't think the Dolphins regressed, other than them losing Christian Wilkins. I feel like that's... Well, Xavier Howard wasn't really even good last year, for real. I feel like Christian Wilkins was like the only big loss for them. Well, Robert Hunt on offense, yeah. But I feel like they did a good job with replacing some of those guys. You know what I'm saying? They brought in Odell, who could possibly, you know what I'm saying, rejuvenate his career. They brought in Jordan Poyer, who is getting up there in age, but he's a great veteran in that locker room and stuff like that. But I feel like they're going to be still pretty good.
Take that big step forward to winning the
if
division.
Tua can stay healthy and cut down on the turnovers and shit.
This video is going to be: are the Kansas City Chiefs going to continue their dynasty, or is it finally over? And
hopefully it's finally over, bro.
As in, will it take a 1-year break? To me, it's not a question mark of if the Kansas City Chiefs dynasty is going to end next year, because I truly don't believe it's going to end anytime soon. As long as Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid are there, that is going to be one of the best teams in the league. But could we maybe see the potential for this three-peat to fall flat on their face? As of today, I personally do believe the Kansas City Chiefs are the favorites to win the NFL championship yet again, after having a
they just won it. They just won it last year, bro.
Season where they fixed the majority of their offensive issues. It has been a bit of a crazy offseason thus far for the Chiefs. You've seen some guys get arrested. You've seen some guys get
and today, like earlier today, Isaiah Buggs just got arrested for domestic violence. Like, what the hell is going on with the Chiefs rosters, bro? Like, everybody is getting in trouble and shit. It's like, bro, it is some crazy voodoo going on with them.
When it gets out to the football field,
are they selling their soul for a three-peat, bro?
Professional these guys are. Now, unfortunately for the Kansas City Chiefs, the rest of their conference has gotten significantly better from last year. Last year, the expectations was that the AFC was going to be an absolute monster to go through. But unfortunately, a couple of injuries kind of ruined the overall outlook of that conference. But now it's looking like this division and conference is just getting better and better. We already talked about the AFC North, which has 4 legitimate championship contenders just in one division. Obviously, the AFC East has 2, maybe 3 championship contenders in the likes of the Jets, Dolphins, and Bills. We also talked about the AFC South, which I fully do expect to take a massive step forward in year number 2 for a lot of these younger teams. Can the Houston Texans, Colts, Titans, or Jaguars become legitimate contenders in 2024? I think it's likely that at least one of those teams puts themselves in that position. Then you have the AFC West, which does contain the Kansas City Chiefs, but we have also seen 2 teams be pretty busy this offseason. The Raiders brought in Gardner Minshew to shore up their quarterback position. Will that be enough?
And I've heard him and O'Connell was struggling.
Then you have the LA Chargers, who have one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, and now, in my opinion, a very good head coach in Jim Harbaugh. Unfortunately, the roster is not quite up to par with the likes of the Kansas City Chiefs, but I still feel like they are a pretty strong threat in any regular season game. So for the Kansas City Chiefs, the real test comes down when you hit the playoffs, because they will be making the playoffs and they likely will win the division, but will they lose a playoff game? Like I said earlier, if you're asking me today, I don't think they're going to lose any game. In fact, I think they're going to win the championship pretty easily. But I do look at the rest of that AFC and I see a lot of different teams that could be legitimate threats to the Kansas City Chiefs. Could Josh Allen finally get his big win over him in the playoffs? Could Joe Burrow get that major win yet again? Could Lamar Jackson get that win? We'll have to wait and see. But as I said earlier in the video, if you guys want me to make make a part 2 with even more storylines, let me know in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed the video, hit the like and subscribe button. And I love you guys. Peace.
Hey man, what do you guys think? What do you guys think is the biggest storyline out of this video? Y'all let me know down in the comments below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys like, comment, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Turn on post notifications and notify whenever I drop another banger video. We're on the road to 300 subs. So I'm gonna get there for more banger NFL content like this. And without further ado, I'm out. Gang!